Mobile gaming has never been more popular thanks to titles such as PubG and Fortnite hitting our smartphones. But of course, while the smartphone's touchscreen controls is perfectly fine for something like Flappy Bird, more complex titles like PubG are a lot more tricky to handle. I mean, this right here is PubG Mobile's control mapping scheme. Just look at how many bloody buttons there are. There's millions of the things. Trying to maneuver your guy or gal around and also press all of these buttons with no kind of feedback or anything is really tough. So if you really want to be competitive in the likes of PubG Mobile, you'll need a little bit of extra help. This bad boy here is the Flydigi Wasp N, a one-handed gamepad that's ideal for playing the likes of PUBG on your smartphone. It's currently available on Kickstarter. This N model is available for all iPhones from 6 all the way up to the 8 Plus. And it also comes in an X version for the iPhone 10, the 10s and the 10s Max. As you can see here, the Wasp N has a joystick so you can maneuver your dude around. It's got a couple of built-in buttons and it's even got some shoulder buttons as well for a good bit of sniping action. Now, setup of this thing is nice and straightforward. All you need to do is slip your iPhone in like so and just clasp it in place, and that holds it right there. You do actually have access to the power button up top still as well, so you can turn the iPhone on and off. Oh, and almost drop it as well. Great. I do love the way everyone basically just punches each other at the start of a match. Fun times. Lots of people on this game have a lot of pent-up aggression. The only problem is you don't have access to the volume buttons when the gamepad is in place. You'll have to take the iPhone out, boost up the volume if you forget to do so beforehand, and then slip it back in again. No problems as far as the speaker's concerned either. That's all still uncovered, so you can hear any of those sneaky buggers creeping up behind you. Now, the Flydigi Wasp N does actually have its own power source as well. You just turn it on with a quick flick of this switch here, and then as you can see, when that button's illuminated, that means that it's fully active. However, the Wasp N doesn't actually connect to your iPhone via Bluetooth or anything like that. What it uses that energy for is basically just capacitive touch. The Flydigi Wasp N is pretty clever. It basically sends this capacitive signal direct to your phone's display whenever you wiggle that joystick or press any of the buttons, just as if it's been touched by your fair fingers. Now, setting up the Wasp N does take a little bit of work, and you'll have to do it on a game-by-game basis. So for instance, in PUBG, what you'll need to do is go to the settings, dive into controls, and then hit customize. You get this handy little card included with the Wasp N. All you need to do is lay that on the screen like so, and as you'll see, it lines up exactly where you need to place those on-screen buttons so the touch buttons actually control them. The top two are the shoulder buttons. So as you can see here, I've set the aim button for the first trigger button and the shoot button for the second trigger button. Just drag them in there until they fit snugly, and as you see, when you press them, it should actually highlight the buttons on screen. You can set it up exactly how you want it, and then once you're done, just hit save and then exit, and you are good to go. And once you're playing, those controls really do make a world of difference. The joystick just makes it so much easier to maneuver around. You can easily strafe and shoot everything you need to do. I do kind of miss having any kind of buttons on the right hand side though. It is a little bit fiddly getting to those two A and B buttons beneath the joystick when you're trying to run around at the same time. That's where you'd ideally have something like a reload button, things like that over on the right edge. Impressively, the Wasp N does have a 300 milliamp cell packed away inside its plastic casing. That'll basically give you roughly 20 hours of use from just 2 hours at the plug. So as long as you charge it before you bugger off on your holidays, you should be absolutely fine, unless you are like seriously addicted to PUBG. I really like the one-handed setup of this as well. You can run around quite easily using that joystick, and you've still got your right hand free in order to look around. And the good thing is that the Wasp N doesn't obscure any part of the screen either. You've got a full view of what's going on. Of course, if you are just using more traditional fully touchscreen controls, that means both hands are sort of there in front of the screen. You're masking bits of the view, but you don't get any of that while using the Wasp N. So if you want that edge in something like PUBG Mobile, you're definitely going to want to get yourself something like the Wasp N. So that right there is a rundown of the Flydigi Wasp N. Definitely one of the best joypads to give you an advantage on the likes of PUBG Mobile. Don't forget to check out my rundown of the best mobiles for playing PUBG as well, cheap versus premium. And of course, subscribe and ding that notifications bell for more on the latest and greatest tech. Cheers everyone, love you!